darkness and light do not mix. Don't let your own actions or what's in your heart condemn you all. The one who thinks they know it all really knows nothing. It's not about me, it's not about you, but it's always been about Christ. Praise, honor, and glory to the Most High God. So I wanted to speak of a story, everyone, of something that I experienced in out of my lack of patience, basically. When I first started following the Lord, my mindset, of course, need to renew your mind, and you renew your mind over time. What happened with me, I wanted to, the people who I was listening to, like when I was really new in the faith, people who knew more, I was getting a lot of the meat to things, but what happened was I wasn't really understanding a lot of the milk. As you know, things need to be done in order and in decency. For example, you go to preschool, kindergarten, you work your way on up. You don't want to start when you're supposed to be in preschool. You work your way up to eighth, 9th, and 10th, because then it becomes a stumbling block. And what happened was I was going after the advanced stuff, but I didn't even understand the basics, And sometimes that's what happens. Sometimes a lot of us, we go to the advanced stuff and we completely forget about the basics. Have you ever heard that expression where that people say, even the great ones practice the basics? Well, you have to keep in mind when you are practicing the basics, like that's part of the root. Because if you don't understand that, then you're going to have trouble trying to understand the meat and stuff. And, God, He is a God of simplicity. When we can have all the intellect and things within the world, but if we don't have any humility, we're not humble, it really just goes in vain. As I said, in past videos, the one who thinks he knows it all really knows nothing, guys. We have to get the basics, because once you get the basics, you're able to understand everything else that comes with it. This is why we do have to be like little children. You have a lot of people who become arrogant and prideful because of knowledge. You can have a lot of knowledge and know certain things, but you may not necessarily know how to apply it within your walks, everyone. The enemy uses that as a stumbling block. As you know, as I said, God is a God of simplicity, and it is good that we understand the basics to things. We don't want to move so fast, and sometimes what happens is we don't understand the basics. Say for example, we may not even know what faith is. We may not even know how to explain faith, how to even apply faith within our walks. What does it mean to crucify the flesh? How do you go about doing it? Things of that nature. And we move on to all the things like there's some serious doctrines out here, guys. The Marine Kingdom is one. A lot of people speak of that, and it causes a lot of people to stumble because you're not even really getting the basics. And this is how people get themselves in bondage, guys. A lot of people get themselves into a lot of bondage. I'm not saying having knowledge is a bad thing, but it can go wrong when you are not humble in Christ. The more you know, that means the more humble you should be, the more submitted you should be to Christ, because wisdom is hidden in Christ. The Lord's not going to give us something that He knows that we really, that's going to mess us up, guys. We have to go through Him to get these things. We have to really just keep humbling ourselves and surrendering. This is why we do have to be like little children. We have to humble ourselves as little children. A lot of children, they're just more so into the simplicity of things. They're not trying to get into that advanced stuff. The little children are not really seeking positions of power. I mean, we may have certain callings on our lives, the things that the Lord may want us to fulfill, but it's more so on the simple side, guys. Sometimes we as people, we make a lot of things complicated, and it's not as complicated as we may think. We just need to learn to keep it simple and just learn the simplicity to the gospel first, everyone, before we just move on to the advanced stuff. And if we do move on to the advanced, then the Lord, He'll show you that, He'll teach you that. But not being careful to not cause one another to stumble with advanced stuff, guys, because even Apostle Paul talked about this in 1 Corinthians chapter 3. He spoke a lot of milk because he said a lot of people couldn't even handle the meat. They couldn't even handle the basic stuff, let alone the advanced stuff. This is why you have all these doctrines and things out here. A lot of people don't even know about it or even understand it because they don't even understand the milk, everyone. Now, true enough, we do have to just keep seeking the Lord and get these things and gain that wisdom and stuff, but just be mindful, guys, to not get so caught up in all the deep things and not even understanding the basics. Please go in order. Things need to be done in order and in decency. Don't cause yourself to stumble like that, everyone. And you find yourself having to relearn things all over and such and such. And sometimes we forget, but this is why we get the word rooted within our hearts. When you understand the basics, you're able to do that. So, yeah, everyone, just something to think about. Keep that in mind. Being in having intellect with no humility is a trap. So, you much love to you all. Peace be with you. God bless.